Hi and welcome. And firstly, we're all going to be okay, but there's a lot to talk about for January 2025. So this is the psychic forecast for January 2025. I'm also going to talk about some challenges that may come up around the presidential inauguration, around Trump's inauguration. I'll get to that relatively early because I'm pretty sure a few of you are logging into this video just for that information. I don't believe in holding people longer. But I still wanted to get to the astrology and numerology, just a brief analysis of that in the beginning. And also, I got some channeled information about this mysterious fog. I got that last night. I haven't read anything. I know nothing about it. A couple people actually brought it to my attention. I was like, fog? What fog? So what else is on the agenda? We'll do the forecast. I have some recommended exercises. I have a channel message that some automatic writing that I can't wait to share this with you guys. And it's really perfect for this month. But I'll say that towards the end. And we do some divination cards for the month also, so that spirit can input things that I might be missing. And this is a psychic forecast. Some of it's channeled. The main thing I want to pick up on the energies and the energetic trends. The timelines are fluid. Not everything's going to pan out exactly as I'm saying or any other psychic or channel saying for that matter, because every moment changes things, and what happens in the future is dependent on what's going on in the now. So the underlying lesson of that is the best thing that we can do is raise our vibration in the now and feed the collective with a lot of higher energy. And that can mitigate some of the challenging things while enhancing the good things. But certain processes have to happen. There is we live in a society that's sick, by the way, in case you haven't seen that yourselves. We live in the society, it's very corrupt. Things have to happen. The old has to fall in order for the new to build, in order to rebuild on a stronger foundation. But we can do this the easy way or the hard way. So let's get together, open our hearts, help each other to ascend. Let's do this the easy way. So what else do I have to say? Yes, we'll do cards at the end. So anyway, let me say a few quick hellos while everybody's getting their notifications. So, and I'm just gonna say hi to everybody. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time. I've got a lot to talk about. You guys are welcome to comment. I'll try to keep half an eye on this, but I rely a lot on notes when I do this because there's no way I'm going to keep this all in my head. So it's all really down here in my notes now. So anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2025. Lot going on. And January 25. I'm seeing some new names, which is nice. Some new names and old names. That's great. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about numerology and astrology. It is a universal number 1 month. Number one is about new beginnings. So there's going to be a lot of new beginnings. Certainly in the US, well, we'll talk about that in a second, but certainly there's a lot of new beginnings here. But it's also a 9 universal year that we're coming. So it's a 1 universal month, but a 9 universal year. So this is a year of completions, but a month of new beginnings. So let's see what I wrote in the new beginnings. It's actually a 10 month and it reduces to 1. New beginnings based on what? Oh gosh, I can't even read my writing already. Hi. What is what's completed or needs to be completed to take things to the next level. So it's kind of like a new beginning on what we're completing, if that makes any sense, so that we can reach the new level. Now, it's a 9 universal year, so it's a completion and it's a 1 month. It's a new beginning this month. In October, we'll have another number 1 month, 10, 1 month. You can look in your own numerology, like what is your personal year looking like, and that'll tell you personally what these new beginnings are more about in your life, or the completions, I should say, for the year, as well as if you add 1 to that, what this month is going to bring as far as new beginnings. Like I'm in a 5 year until my birthday. So this will be a 6 months. So these new beginnings are going to be more about service because that's the number of 6. It could be romantic. We'll see about that because it's Venus energy. It's more about money, service, family, helping people and stuff like that. And it's my 5 years. So the completion is a cycle of change and transformation. So you can translate it into your own. So that's basically this. So 1 year, new beginnings, but these are new beginnings that are going to precipitate a complete overhaul and a change, a completion of the old, so that we can bring in the new, because 2026 is going to be a one universal year. So anyways, what else? So I've jumped down January 21st to 25th. That's that big 6 planet alignment. But it's not really an astrological alignment from what I'm seeing. It's just that 6 planets will be visible. But hey, that's something. I didn't even write this down, but I'm seeing a lot of like meteors and shooting stars. So there's still a lot of sky activity here. Now, the full moon is at 24 degrees Cancer on the 13th. This powerful energy because of the numerology of 24 in the sign of Cancer. That's going to really, it's going to bring integrity and reputation to the forefront. So this full moon energy is going to precipitate probably high-level officials getting called out that are not in their integrity. So those that aren't in their integrity, they're going to be more visible and more scrutinized, basically. So let us be in our integrity. And Cancer is really, the moon's it's the moon's ruling sign, so it's very powerful. So it's really about, opening up our subconscious, our emotions, our intuition, taking care of family, home, and stuff like that. So in any event, and on the 27th, there's a new moon, and that's the Lunar New Year or the Chinese New Year. It's the year of the snake. What do snakes do? They shed their skin. They shed old skin. And they also transmute poison into medicine. So understand that the corruption and the ills of the world, that poison can be transmuted into medicine. How does that happen? Through awareness, through assimilation, not should you say, trying to push it away or ignore it or say all the shadows or the negative aspects are bad, but rather to embrace it. That's how you transcend it. So that's going to be the theme of the year. It's going to be heavy Aquarius energy right around that time. So I'll get to that in a second. Like Aquarian age, new Earth, basically. So we're coming into that, the Aquarian full moon. The Pluto's at 1 degree Aquarius. It's not going to go back into Capricorn for 200 plus years. So we're really coming to that Aquarian age. And Uranus is going to station around that time in Taurus. So a lot. And what is the Uranus station, the Uranus energy? It's basically all this is going to help to shed old skin. Uranus is evolution. It's revolution. It's community. It's the sky, science. So a lot of sky anomalies and UFO connections and stuff like that. Lots of breakthroughs in science that really start to get going this month. It's also sudden changes and surprises. So again, timelines are fluid. I'll pick up on what I pick up on. I'm not going to catch everything. Not everything's going to be 100% accurate because it's fluid and I'm human. But again, I'm trying to get more of the energetic trends in the flavor. And you'll find that some of my prediction have really been dead on. Not to toot my own horn, but I definitely have a good track record with it. Not 100%, but I don't know who does. If I meet anybody who does, I definitely want to meet that person. So January 3rd, Venus goes into Pisces, where Venus is exalted. Venus will be happy. We like that happy energy. So that ushers in some nice positive energy to help with the looming economic issues, because Venus is also about money and the economy. Mars goes into Cancer, retrogrades into Cancer on the 6th. I look at that as time to clean up our house and to clean up our country and to clean up the planet. So Mars is retrograding, that's energy, back into Cancer. Then it'll go direct in February and then go back into Gemini, not too far of that. Big thing happening on January 12th. The North and South Node are going to be aligned with the world axis. The world axis is 0 degrees of the cardinal signs. So two of the cardinal signs are Aries and Libra. So it's going to be at 0 degrees. The North Node at 0 degrees Aries, the South Node at 0 degrees Libra. So when the nodes which tells us a lot about the social trends or the trends in society, are on the world axis, with all this other stuff happening, you can pretty much bet there's going to be huge changes in the World Forum. Everything from politics to laws to money to the economy, all that stuff. So that's shifting on the 12th. January 30th, Uranus station to go direct at 23 degrees Taurus, may upend the financial system. So we need that good Venus energy. Although Venus is going to fairly soon after come out of Cancer and go into Leo, but that's okay. So strong Aquarian vibe, higher mind, movements towards diplomacy, peace, evolution, revolution, but surprises. Uranus will station in Taurus later in the month, catalyzes changes, government and financial system. Also look for some big news around quantum physics, around advanced sciences, breakthroughs, discoveries, stuff like that. And again, look at the stars, science of the stars, ETs, and evolution. So anyway, now we've been seeing this mysterious fog. I'm calling it fake fog. I don't know what it is. People in my area were talking about it the other day, but honestly, I mean, it could have been the mysterious fog, but honestly, those of you in the Catskills, they're seeing a lot of fog. Keep in mind that there was snow cover and the temperature was above freezing and the dew point was almost 100%. So basically, these are natural conditions that are very, very conducive to thick fog just near the surface. And sometimes it floats into clouds just above the surface. There was nothing that I see that was out of the ordinary about that. So I want to make that clear. I'm a medium and I'll tell people spirit will move things. But if you see your lampshade moving, make sure your window is closed before you assume it's a spirit. So same thing with the chemtrails. About 80% of what I see on social media of so-called chemtrails are just normal contrails that form in certain conditions at certain levels of the atmosphere. But chemtrails are real. And I do believe this phantom fog is real also, but we have to be discerning. If we're going to make a difference in the world, we can't not do our research and look like fools. I'll just put it that way. We have to be up on things and not say things that people are going to just say that we don't know what we're talking about and dismiss us basically. So do your research and homework. Aquarius energy is very good for that, by the way. All right. So I got some channeled information. I'll see if I can do some research about that. Same thing with the drones. I didn't know anything about it. And looking back through the channeled information, we picked up on a lot of it. A lot's unknown still. So we don't know. Let me turn these pings off. So anyway, so I'm hearing for peace, which I don't understand what that means yet, but that was the first thing that they're saying, that is happening for peace. If anybody understands that, let me know, because I don't. Also, they're saying to clean up, something to do with neutralizing energy, contaminants, perhaps radioactivity. It's absorbing. This is like absorbing either energy, at least according to how I interpreted what I received through automatic writing, chemicals, frequencies, sensing maybe silica based, I want to say. We see it as non-harmful to humans, but can cause respiratory issues on contact for a short time. So be aware of that also. Feels more like government. Don't want something to get exposed. Probably military ops, I want to say also. May show up in areas of higher radiation. And I do believe there's some connection with the drones that we've been seeing as well. I do believe that there's also some connection with or there's going to be like a third part of that. I don't know exactly what it is, but there's going to be something else that's going to somehow link with this. Now, a lot of these things are smoke screens. Keep that in mind to draw our attention one way. And by doing so, that takes attention away from something else, right? So may show up in areas of that, may be released through chemtrails, but haven't received total clarity on that. But activity is closer to the ground, and may be released through aircraft, but it's heavier than the air. Once it hits the ground or near the ground, that energies or things that are happening on the ground, you'll activate it and create this fog, whether that's natural meteorological stuff or something else. Now, there's also the what's called the Gwen towers. They look a little bit like funky cell towers. That they're at a grid of a couple of 100 miles apart. They kind of have this low level, I don't want to say radioactive, but radio frequency that helps the like things like the smart homes and things like that. They may be also tools for HARP or programming, but I'm not going to say that's a fact because I don't know it's a fact. It's still a theory until it's proven otherwise. But it may be, that may be part of it. But anyway, they show up in areas of high radiation, may be released. All right, we said that, to the ground, possibly in tandem with Gwen towers or HARP or atmospheric modification. As always, there are smoke screens. Don't see extraterrestrial involvement, at least not direct ET involvement yet. But from what I sense, the higher ETs are concerned and will help neutralize any negative byproducts of this. So what do we say? Partly smoke screen towards Project Blue Beam, which is the it's still a conspiracy theory, but there's evidence to support it may be at least partially factual, that the governments want to create a scare of possible negative ETs so that they can further centralize things and take away more rights. Connected to drones, part of a similar operation. There may be a third anomaly connected with this in a couple of weeks. That could be connected with light or strange lights or glows in the sky. So most interesting, this is the most interesting part of this. Was seeing underground tunnels and battles fall underground as I was getting this information. Caves and landings beneath the surface getting infiltrated. This could be part of human trafficking and part of cleaning things up. There could be military forces that are at work that we don't know about, underground forces that are helping to clean different things up in society. But they were showing me that, and that the whatever's going on down there was leaving like either a chemical residue or radioactive residue near the surface, which would help, which this fake fog, I call it fake fog, helps to neutralize. So don't believe this is spreading virus, but possibly, but that may be happening in other ways, like spreading viruses. A lot of people are getting sick now. You have some of the frequency attacks are against our immune system to make us more vulnerable to viruses. So how do you counter that? Very simple. You stay in the heart, do your heart-brain coherence, feel grateful, compassion as much as possible. The more you do that, the more you become resistant to all forms of programming, including frequency programming, which is very sophisticated now. So anyway, so there's that. So I wanted to jump in the prediction, but where did I talk about your new beginnings? First and foremost, okay, so here's a big month of awakening. All right, so we get into the issues about the inauguration in just a second. So firstly, the beginning of a cycle of more exposure of global corruption. That's the big energy of January. That's the new beginning. It's the next level. That's been happening for a good while, but in earnest since around 2022, and it's accelerating. Number 1 year, new beginnings, new laws, practices, et cetera, begin. And then 1 month, I'm sorry, a general global clampdown is shown. So we may see more military in this country. I'm in the US, FEMA or National Guard or stuff like that, as they enact new measures to control societies. The new beginnings in your life too. All right, we talked about that. So first and foremost, a big month of awakening on different levels. Big month of financial success. I was seeing a lot of dolphins too, and dolphins represent mana or breath, and it's also, dolphins are very intelligent and very creative and dwell in the water. So there's a lot of dolphin energy that's coming in. When I was preparing this, I kept seeing dolphins. And this to me means do your breath work with your lung, work with your heart center, your solar plexus, your throat. Do a lot of deep breathing and clearing energies and tapping into higher intelligences. Serious fog. So we talked about that. New beginning, new presidency. So why, and this isn't new. A lot of people are talking about this. Different psychics have slightly different takes, but there's a common theme, and that is there's going to be extreme pushback, and I've been feeling that also. Um, they may, is it the 14th amendment? They may enact the 14th, the one where he would be considered a threat to national security. I do believe they're drawing up the cases to try to get him out, to try to get him to be not inaugurated, who's ever controlling things. So I do believe that's happening. And but I don't know to what extreme they're going to enact that. So, I don't know what their choices are going to be, but I feel like even right after the election, they started to do a lot of research. Things like alleged voter manipulation, alleged um, threat to national security based on Donald Trump's alleged involvement in the 1/6 insurgents, as well as taking classified material out of the White House to Mar-a-Lago and other things like that. So a lot of pushback to the 14th Amendment documents, etc. Um, and they're doing their homework now. Not sure how far they're going to take this. Now, I'm still seeing the inauguration. I'm still seeing Trump being inaugurated. Some psychics don't. And a lot of psychics are seeing delays. The timelines are fluid. It's possible that it may go in another direction, but until I'm getting something distinct, I'm not changing my prediction all along that he gets inaugurated on time. That said, there's been more of a leaning, so I'm hedging a little bit. I know towards maybe getting delayed, and they're showing me the number 3. So it's possible it's delayed about 3 weeks, or the month of March. That's the 3rd month. But as of right now, I still see that happening. Also, I see a lot of riots, demonstrations likely leading into 120 standoffs, stuff like that. I mean, you could kind of look at the trends and see how this divide is so much that rubber band between the different ideologies is stretching and stretching. You see it on social media, you see it everywhere. People are fighting, they're more angry, they're more scared than ever. Something's got to give. So and that may come out in violent outbreaks. So as it always does when tensions boil over. So keep an eye on that. I've also seen the White House sealed off for about 36 hours. So honestly, that may be more into the month of February, but that popped in. Now again, these timelines are fluid. Perhaps through collective consciousness, we don't have to have a situation where Donald Trump or who's ever in the White House has to be sealed off because there's people that want to bomb the White House or whatever it is. On that note, watch out, especially around the Middle East. Oh God, what's that city called in UAE? I can't remember the name of the big city. Holy smokes! In the United UEA or UAE. It'll come to me, but in that part of the world, there could be like a terrorist act on a building. That may not be in January, but that's part of my yearly forecast, which is on the Medium channel. There's the abridged version and the full hour and a half deep dive, both on the channel. Oh gosh, it almost the name of the city almost came to me. You guys know. Dubai. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Dubai. You guys know what I'm talking about. Action swift on Trump's part, feeling like he doesn't have a lot of time. I don't think, assuming that that he makes it for the full 4 years, I'm feeling about 2.5 years. It could change, but I think he's going to feel like he's got a job to do, whether you agree or disagree. He's going to feel like he's got a job to do. So expect things to happen fast and furious. We're already seeing that, aren't we? News on possible Trump illness surfaces. 2 other U.S. elections could be challenged. That could be a Senate or a House election or a local election. Year starts all fast. There could be a bombshell on the news the first few days. I don't know exactly what it is, but I've been feeling something really big for a while. So hold on. Try to stay out of reaction. Know that it's going to be okay. Things have to happen. Exactly. All right. Several new laws, alliances, I don't know if edict's the right word, verdicts. There's a word, there's something that's laws, but they're not really laws. I forgot the name of that, but I think we see several new ones in that, and people won't understand why. But they're prepared to be enacted. People aren't going to understand, if our incoming president has any logic. I mean, I feel like there's something behind it. Honestly, I do. I'm not a supporter. I try to really just be like, how can I put this? Not on the right and the left, but be in the center, to be in the heart, to kind of take it all in and to be neutral, so that I can understand better the dynamics behind the right wing and the left wing and all the tensions or whatever. But it may not have anything to do with Donald Trump, but I do believe there's an agenda that's happening through him, that's and there's things are going to happen very quickly. What I believe also. So new laws. All right, we talked about that. So let's talk about econ. So I think we got that part out of the way. All right. And a lot of you guys are on live. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, good idea. Do some kickboxing. I used to be an amateur kickboxer back in the day. Although I use that term loosely, I was never on any circuits, but I did do some kickboxing, some martial arts. But anyway, economy-related issues. So there could be a crash or shift. I was feeling more in February. To keep an eye on that. Meetings later in the month to centralize and digitalize currency, but mainly to bring more unity and clarity. So in other words, there's two different sides. There's those powers that be, the more they can centralize and digitalize currency, eliminate physical currency, the more they can control it, right? But then there's also the other side of that, like making economic reforms, like bringing the gold standard back here in this country. It's called the quantum financial system, bringing more equality around the world with the exchange rates, changing some of these laws that a minute few benefit from, but most people, it siphons money out of their pockets and into those that control the world. So yeah, seeing gold could be big, a big gold discovery. I think that happened in between the time I was preparing this and now. I heard something on my news feed about a large gold mine discovered, or there could be more proposals towards quantifying it. All right. Seeing a lot of changes around China and currency. Sanctions could be coming from China. Tariff laws could be altered, could be designed to create financial alliances with the US. I'm not saying I know this. I'm not an expert in the economy. I'm not an expert on what goes on in Donald Trump's mind and those that he's aligned with. But that said, these crazy tariffs and other things, there could be an agenda to actually create more alliances with other countries, with the United States, and as a result, to receive either tax credits or breaks from the tariffs. We'll see how that all plays out, but there's more to it than just slapping these high tariffs on different countries. Unexpected strikes and walkouts can come up. Protests increase dramatically. Seeing a ship held at port, possible supply lines delayed. Big increase in food prices. Big surprise there, right? Mainly produce, but more because of weather and holding back supplies. I think more than the tariffs or the international trade. We get so much of our, especially this time of year, from Mexico and South America. And on that note, another thought came into my mind, but it left my mind just as quickly. This is when I drink some water. Talk about big increase in food prices. Yeah, a lot of wars with the farming, all that kind of stuff. But there's a lot that I can't cover. I'm trying to keep this at an hour or thereabouts. So there's a lot that I can't really cover with that. But January could in each particular. Oh, so there's one other thought here. Let me see if it comes back. She tells it poor. We just like supply lines interrupted, strikes. Oh gosh, if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. Sometimes these messages just come in and out too quickly. All right, 3, 2, 1. What else? They're just saying, don't worry, we're going to be okay. And things have to reset. It's just these energies are so powerful. And behind it all, it's frequencies. The frequencies are higher now than they've ever been. They're going to spike in January. And that's going to cause changes in society because lower frequencies can't exist in higher frequencies. And we live in a society that is built on the foundation of greed, power over others, mistrust, and all that. Those are lower frequencies. They can't survive. So anyway, stay in high vibes, everybody. That's the message before. So let's go into climate and weather. January, cold in the east, particularly the southeast. Some of this is meteorological, not psychic from spirit. I am a meteorologist by trade, although I'm not working in the field currently. And we saw this coming psychically well before. Like, in other words, if you've been following me for that long, we saw, you're aware that I predicted this to be the coldest winter in at least 3 or 4 winters here in the eastern part. I'm in the northeast in the Catskill Mountains of New York, and that it would be top heavy, or in other words, the coldest weather would be early, December and January. Well, we had a very cold December compared to recent years. We're going to get hit with a polar vortex. That's going to affect more from the upper Midwest. They could see temperatures in the -30s, which we haven't seen in a good while in this country. Maybe even colder into the southeast, into Florida. Now, we'll get it in the northeast too, but we're not going to get the core of it. So it'll get cold here, but the records are going to be south of us. And this is likely to persist right up until the 20th to the 25th. This is going to be long acting, but then I'm seeing a pattern shift. So as this is happening, the West is warm. There's record heat going to be building in the West. That'll shift. That's going to allow the Pineapple Express to do its thing on the West Coast, to create a lot of snows in the Rockies, and to create a January thaw, which we haven't had a real January thaw because all of January has been a thaw the last several years. So anyway, so there's that. Mostly more January thaw. I know. All right. Weather will continue to make headlines in the news. It keeps ramping up. I'm not going to pick up on everything about the weather, but expect it to be crazy. We had a bunch of tornadoes in the south yesterday. We had thunder in the northeast. We had a lot of stuff going on. We also have powers out in Puerto Rico now, and that might have tapped into my December forecast when we forecasted regional power outages. From what I understand, the whole island's out. Also, California earthquake. Now, back in last June, I predicted a California earthquake in December. I predicted it to be impactful. I predicted it to be in Southern California. What happened in December was the biggest earthquake in 6 years, but it wasn't as impactful as what I was seeing, and also it's farther north than what I was seeing. It feels like there's another one coming. That might be trended to February, but if you live on the West Coast, the Southwest, California, LA area, but all the West Coast, just have a plan ready in case it happens, basically. More power grid issues. Okay, we talked about that. Plastics, forever chemicals, more in the news. That might even equal or surpass climate change and global warming. Plastic islands, microplastics in the system, plastic in the waters, stuff like that. Things are going to have to be looked at and addressed. It's affecting people's health, and it's getting worse. So there's that. I feel like there's going to be recalls on electric vehicles, systems issues that might get delayed. Global warming, climate change accelerated more than they thought. Whatever the cause, we can debate on that later because I know people have different ideas. But whatever the reason, the Earth is getting warmer and it's changing the climate and changing patterns of human behavior in our society. And I do believe some emergency meetings are going to be called, and maybe there is a climate summit coming up. I'm not sure. And I've seen dead fish and dolphins, back to dolphins, washed up on shores. That may be more than usual. Significant meteor strike, enough to cause local earthquake. Honestly, it wasn't getting a location. I feel like I'm either in Eastern Europe to Russia or China, in that area. But I think in general, more activity of meteors, meteor showers, strikes on the Earth. I don't see anything cataclysmic, but a good shake and a sonic boom will wake people up that are around. The high solar flare activity, power internet delays. And funny thing is, the the other night, it was Saturday night. Every night I did the long live stream about 2025, the psychic forecast. And one of the things that came up is expect a spike in solar activity in January. Not 12 hours later, not 12 hours later, the next day, I know it was still December, but we had the record number, or very close to record number of M-class flares from the sun, followed by 2 X-class flares. And gosh darn it, it was cloudy last night because the aurora would have been visible in the Catskills if it was not cloudy. But anyway, it was. So there'll be more chances here. Anyway, all right. I solar flare theory. All right. So back into science, more understanding of the drone phenomenon. I think as the month goes by, especially in February, I feel like it's going to stop, or it's going to change before too long. More news on DNA vaccines and new therapies, like the cancer vaccine. You're starting to hear more of that on the news. We talked about that also. And basically, these vaccines are altering the DNA to grant you greater immunity to certain issues like cancer, or certain kinds of cancer in that case. I think it's going to be touted as being very safe, this and the other thing, other than the fact it alters your genetic structure. But other than that, it's very safe, or whatever. Personally, I prefer to rely on what we know about natural things. Take care of the body, eat right, open your heart. We know that working with the heart increases the immunity, and increases your health. Scientists prove that already, and also increases the longevity. I'd rather have that, even if they invent, if the med beds become available, if they can cure every disease under the sun. That's still something outside of myself. I want to be able to do that from the inside in case I don't have access to that, right? So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm pumped about the scientific and medical breakthroughs that are coming. It's going to help a lot of people, but at the same time, we still want to grow spiritually. We still want to awaken, and to a point where we are able to change our vibration enough to affect our health, to be healthier, to cure so-called incurable diseases, like I've done. I'm a living example that is possible. Many other people are also. So anyway, more news on DNA vaccine. All right. More COVID, future pandemic in news. All right. Boring. Yawn. Not talking about that. In general, a record month for weather. Fires may make the headlines also. Also, a lot about cover-ups. That's the next topic on the list. Thank you guys for adding. I can't really look at what you're doing, um, but thank you for adding and everything. And everybody that's new, welcome to the Medium channel. Welcome to our community. We are a happy, high vibe bunch here. So that's what we need as the world changes. We need our community. We need to stay in higher vibrations. We're going to be okay. That's how I started this live stream, by saying we're going to be okay. Wow, we have over 180 people live. So those that jumped on late, what you missed, you can catch up on when we're done and this becomes a video. So anyway, science, more understanding of the drone phenomenon. All right, more. Oh, I'm repeating myself, aren't I? More. All right. In general, record month for weather. All right. We're on cover-ups. I'm sorry. The beginning of the next level of unraveling the global corruption. Who saw Thrive back in the day, about the 5 ruling families, and outlining what the cabal or deep state is, how they operate? I think my feeling is that they operate a lot through the asset management companies that I call the tentacles of the deep state, because they have their tentacles in everything in the corporate world. So if you think corporations rule the world, well, they do, but there's a higher force that rules the corporation and rules the government and so forth. It's all very corrupt. Just satisfies the interests of a minute few at the detriment of a great many. It's been this way for a long time, longer than most people know. I started studying this stuff in the 70s. I was a conspiracy theorist before that word even existed. I'll put it to you that way. Thanks to my martial arts teacher, who was even more so. And it wasn't so much about, like aliens and UFOs. It's more about the corruption here on Earth, the power plays, what the the powerful countries are really up to, why the wars really happen. Follow the money. It doesn't take a genius, and who becomes more in power as a result of what happens. So you can connect the dots that way. But anyway, so Fauci questioned, he should be. Wasn't he pardoned? Don't you have to be pardoned if you're guilty of something? Or is that just kind of a symbolic pardon? I don't know, but I if I'm incorrect, somebody correct me. So because I don't want to give any misinformation, but I do believe that I heard that. What was he pardoned? Also Musk, Elon Musk, almost as controversial a figure as Donald Trump. With Donald Trump, there's always, that's another thing about January. I think the bar is going to hit a whole new level on on controversy and polarization and everything. So you know what? Try not to react on social media. Try to stay in your heart. To me, it's an ongoing issue, but I'm getting better at it. But the more in your heart you are, the more in your power you are, the more you get upset by what other people are saying, the more you're taken out of your power in that moment. So try not to do that. Let them fight. there's actually in the channel message of we I think we talked a little bit about that. We can't stop that. Let them fight, but let's stay in our heart and work on being the solution. Not feeding the problem. And what else? Farming and other industries, speaking up. They've been doing that anyway. I would say it would be about time. Increase in whistleblowers, I think, also this month could be new. Some important news in the Epstein issues, and I touched on that earlier. Also in the voting, price gouging, corporate and crypto scams. So a lot of these things are really going to be more looked at, more exposed. And remember, I'll repeat this a couple more times, but remember that that we're coming to higher frequencies. It's been increasing incrementally. It's going to be higher. This society is built on lower frequencies, lower being more negative, more less connected to spirit and God, more separated, if you want to look at it that way. Low frequencies can exist in high frequencies. The very foundation of this entire society that's built on a house of cards is being attacked by these higher frequencies. It has to crumble. We don't know exactly how it's going to happen. We just know it's going to happen. And part of it is that these things that are unfair, these cover-ups, the corruption, all that stuff, it gets exposed. So so more spying apparatus discovered, more smoke screens, images of exploitation, human trafficking start to surface more on mainstream news. Border tensions increase. Well, we need to be psychic to know that. More cartels explode. Seeing rounds of missiles this month. So I think the fighting's going to amp up. I mean, we're coming into Aquarian energy that's more about diplomacy and higher mind, but till we get there through the transition, more countries getting involved, stuff like that. I covered more of that in the full year forecast, so you can look at that to get more detail on that. General escalation of the struggles in the world. I won't use the word that precedes the number 3, what people are describing, because I don't see that happening. But we may feel like we're moving in that direction in our world. Again, I think it has to happen. Also, these higher frequencies, they release the lower energies that are stuck. That could be our personal traumas and dramas for people that are going through a lot of anxiety and getting a lot of ascension symptoms. All these higher frequencies are hitting that. So be aware of that. These higher frequencies also act on the earth, and it starts to purge the karma, the traumas, the ancestral, the cultural, all the wars of the last thousands of years. As these higher frequencies affect the planet, it starts to release, and for a time it feeds the aggression until it passes out of this reality, and then that's when the cleanup begins, and that's when everybody starts to work together, find some middle ground, diplomacy happens. The wars end, basically. So seeing around the missiles, peaceful solutions do get discussed, and there are underground movements. There are things happening we're not aware of that are trying to assist in exposing the corruption. There's a lot of corruption around war because it's very profitable business for some people. So there are underground movements. There are soldiers. There are people actively fighting this fight, from what I receive and understand through my remote viewing and channeling. I don't have any tangible proof on that, but this is what I've been receiving. New countries, new players in global conflict. Could be a ceasefire somewhere. All right. Anyway, we talked enough about that. And let's go into things around UFOs. One of my favorite topics, extraterrestrials. Since I was a kid, I always believed in them. I always looked at the stars, and accused my parents of kidnapping me or adopting me. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Continued spike in sightings of UFOs, or what? There's another name, unidentified. What is it? APs or UEP, somebody, you know what I'm talking, UAEs. Somebody can put that in the comments. But anyway, more sky phenomena. Some of it real, some of it not. So I'll put it that way. Some disclosure and emergency meetings are likely later in the month. So I think that there's going to be a lot of activities in the sky. This could again be drones, other activities. I have a feeling something's going to get a little bit aggressive when it comes to an unknown entity, not necessarily extraterrestrials, and that's going to fuel a lot of fear and a lot of concern. Remember that the more in fear we are, the more easy we are to control. The more angry we are, the more easy we are to control. The more divided we are, the more easy we are to control. Stay in unity. Stay out of fear. Know that God, spirit, or source is going to see us through. We're going to be okay. We're actually privy and privileged to be part of the greatest shift of human consciousness and evolution in many, many, many thousands of years. It's tough, but it's going to be okay. We're witnessing miracles, even if it's not always going to seem that way. So remember that. More real contact. Some people are getting contacted telepathically. Honor that. You're not going crazy. Well, a few of you maybe, but most of you are not going crazy. More real contact, more sightings, real sightings, more visits from extraterrestrial beings, more awakenings, record numbers of people awakening in this new beginning month of the new year that closes the chapter of the old. That's the 9 year. Spirituality increases on the planet. Religious scams, religious and spiritual program. It's not just the religion. A lot of these spiritual organizations that are very highly regarded have been infiltrated by lower forces. It starts with the human ego. When the human ego rules rather than serve spirit, or tries to rule you rather than serve your higher self, then you become magnetic to the lower forces. So anybody feels like they're dealing with negative entities, well, work with the heart. That's probably the solution to everything. Everything in spirituality is simple. Let me put it this way. And people think like it should be harder, more complicated, but it's not. It's really, really simple. You want to get rid of negative entities? Be more in your heart. Be more in love. That repels negativity. Now, there's probably karmic issues or past life things. So you may have to do some work on top of that. But that's the foundation that's going to make all your clearings or your shamanic healings or all of that. That's what's going to make it work, is doing the foundational work yourself. And then it's permanent. So anyway, more awakening. Reckon number of people awake. All right, we talked about that. And there may be the most major UFO event occurring around the 20th of the month or so. We'll see how that pans out. But I think this would be one of the most major events. And I think that's more of a real one. Oh, we've got more to do, don't we? Big year in opening personal consciousness and superhuman abilities. That's part of these higher frequencies. The energetic quantum leap in consciousness, that's happened. From what I received from the master teachers, that happened from around August to November. Unlike in an atom, where an electron jumps from a lower orbital to a higher orbital, it happens in about 2 or 3 millionths of a second. So it's called the leap. It doesn't really leap. It happens so fast. But in consciousness, it takes months. But we've been in an energetic quantum leap. It takes time for things to happen, to settle and to happen on the earth, because on the earth plane it's very dense. compared to the energetic field. So once the energy changes, the changes in the physical are slow to happen. First on a quantum level, so changes what goes on inside of the atom, which starts to change the atom, which starts to change the molecules, which starts to change the smaller things that eventually starts to change everything. So anyway, so the energetic quantum leap already happened. So this month we will be seeing signs of those changes around the world, like stories about alternative education that is more fair, more spiritual. We start to see more of that popping up. We need that in this world. More politicians or people in power that are tapping into this. They may not even be conscious of it and are verbalizing more spiritual principles, even without even knowing it. We'll see signs of it. The energy will spike this month, higher frequencies than ever, and that will chop away at the foundation of a society built on greed, corruption, power over others. This is the beginning, number 1 month of the number 9 year, the beginning of the end of the world. At the world we once knew. That's what I wrote down. The world that we once knew. New Earth Aquarian age begins to take hold, even more so in February. Huge steps in personal consciousness, opening new superhuman abilities, DNA awakenings, especially those doing the work. And we do the work right here on the Medium channel. Do the frequency channeling with us. That's to help you to safely accelerate your spiritual growth through frequency channeling that triggers the awakening. So the frequencies have to reach certain thresholds within your energetic fields for dormant DNA to awaken. So we do that here in the channel. You can go back to the old channelings that we've done and do that. We also have a Patreon group called Spirit Mind Family, where we dive deeper into all of these things, including frequency channeling, and do exclusive content videos and meditation I don't share anywhere else. Only $5 a month. We'll leave information on how to join that. So that was an impromptu commercial. I apologize for that, but you'll benefit big time. It's not really commercial because I really feel in my heart that this is going to help people, and it already is helping people. So huge steps in personal consciousness. That is the main thing. That is the main deal. So practices for the month. So we're getting there. We're in 52 minutes. So we're keeping more or less in time. Mostly do shadow integration work. These are higher frequencies. You can't take the old stories of old Earth that are of the density that are attracted to the dense energies. You can't ascend if you got this anchor of the density of unresolved traumas and pains, personally, collectively, culturally. We have a whole playlist on shadow integration work. We have videos on it. You cannot take the old into these higher frequencies right now and moving ahead. This is the easiest time ever been to ascend spiritually. That said, you still have to do your work. It's not just going to happen. You're not just going to magically go into 5D because there's an ascension happening. Work has to be done. You have to learn to meditate. You have to learn how to be present. You have to learn how to be open, to feel the flow, to utilize the flow, to channel the flow, or chi or prana. You have to have these skills and develop these skills. But you have to clear that old baggage. So if that hasn't happened yet, really work on that now. And then as these frequencies get higher, you're doing your spiritual work, you will ascend, and it'll be more graceful. There'll be less ascension symptoms that are born out of the body and our aura or our energetic fields trying to keep up with these changes in frequencies. It taxes the body. We have physical symptoms. Now, if you're having physical symptoms, see a doctor. But that said, a lot of times it is ascension. It's growth. They're saying it's growing pain. Basically, that's what they say. It's part of the growth. And so I don't think you can totally mitigate it, but you can flow with it. You can flow with these changes. But anyway, so you can't take all baggage into the new, more refined frequencies if you wish to ascend. Energy is more conducive than ever to spiritual awakening. All right. Do heart-brain coherence. So after shadow work, heart-brain coherence is the next thing. We have videos. We have a playlist on that also. or anything that cultivates the frequency of the heart. Heart-brain coherence is a specific practice that I modify and teach my own brand of that, which I call heart-brain spirit coherence, because I combine a mediumship exercise called sitting in the power. But the fundamentals of that is you get very present, very open, and you feel very grateful. Once you get present, so present that you transcend your human identity. Like, I'm not Adam or a medium, or I'm not giving information on YouTube right now. Basically, I'm energy, I'm frequency, basically. So when you become very present, you shift, your consciousness raises, and then you just start to feel grateful because you know it's perfect in the now. No matter what your personal story is, no matter what pains or traumas are around you, you know that it's perfect, and feel grateful for that and feel compassion. Hold that in your heart. Hold that for about 10 minutes or so. And as you're holding that in your heart, what you feel in your heart, that love, that gratitude, appreciation, feel in your brain also. Feel it's like a lighter and energy, and feel a larger light around you, being attracted to that and blending with your connected heart and brain. And then it all becomes one. And you also connect your body, because your brain, your body is in your brain also. The hearts are stronger than brains, and they're connected. So when you bring the heart into vibrational coherence, that's love, right? That's compassion, that's gratitude. The brain automatically locks in because the heart is stronger. It's the energetic generator, the electromagnetic generator of the body. And the brain's the transmitter and receiver. So you want to set your intention of what you desire, whether it's to be healthier, to be ascended, or whatever you want to attract in your life. But you want to feel the gratitude in your brain, in your heart, in your brain, and in your body, and just sit with that. And if you do that through the power of repetition, your vibration changes, your heart opens, and magical things happen. And your intuition grows, your abilities expand and grow, and you become resistant to all that negative programming. So that's the main thing. So do that and do our transmissions. All right, we talked about that on YouTube and Patreon. So we're going to finish. Oh, okay. Oh, good for do Jared's Homas also, or other channels and teachers doing that. So I have the channeled messages that I got, and then we're going to do some divination cards to finish up this live stream. Yeah. Oh, did we get a troll? Let me see. All right. All right. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. Yeah, we can love bomb that person. Some people are programmed, and they're generally fearful of this information. So so there we have. So we did a little bit of house cleaning just now. Thank you guys for letting me know. All right. So here's the channel, through the master teachers, through automatic writing. I cleaned it up a little bit. Last time I did it raw, and that was hard to do. So I cleaned it up a little bit and made it more legible. But here's the message: be like the bear deers. This is the time of year. In many locations, they retreat into the cave womb of Mother Earth. The energy stills. This is January. In the northern hemisphere anyway, in the temperate zones. The energy stills. Animals hibernate in the earth. The trees and shrubs condense their energies to their roots in Mother Earth. Everything is condensing back into Mother Earth. Now, remember, in English, earth and heart have the same letters, and that's important. It is your time and reset. It is your time for reset. Just as the bear hibernates, she digests the lessons of the year past, assimilates processes, things, resets, only to come out into the world with new vigor as the sun strengthens. So be like the bear. This is your time of reset into the cave womb of Mother Earth too. Accessible through the heart, the earth heart, the heart earth. It is your time of introspection, contemplation, digestions of lessons old. This is for January, just to reiterate. Enthusiasm for projects new as you rejuvenate. and prepare to come back into the light with new knowledge, new purpose, new vigor, new life. Honor and work with your cycles of nature, dear ones, for they are not separated from you, and you are not separated from them. There's only 3 pages of this, by the way. Nature is designed to help you return to God's spirit or source, align with source, for you are a child of nature, and her cycles carry important lessons on who you are and what you are here to do. The more chaotic and difficult the world becomes, the more safe you are in the cave womb of Mother Earth, which is accessible through the heart. As the battles of consciousness rage on, this is your sanctuary, the eye of the storm, and you connect with the regenerating bear of hibernation by accessing the womb of your earth through dwelling in your heart, the eye of the storm. The time of action will be soon, but now is the time of rest. Relax more, meditate more, take care of yourself more this month. The world, with all its conflicting energies, has to reset. Things need to happen to move forth in your collective ascension. You cannot stop this. You can't stop what's happening. So let it play out. Rest deep in the womb and receive your messages from Great Spirit. Therefore, see this time of contemplation soon for this time of contemplation will assimilate into action. All right, I think I'm repeating things. You cannot stop what is happening, but you can become an important part of the direction your world will go after the reset. Be like the bear, rest and rejuvenate as the earth in your northern regions is doing. Connect deeper with spirit or source through the heart, the earth heart, the heart earth. Receive your upgrade, your messages, and help shape your new earth soon. Through the spiritual gifts and wisdom imparted to you during this time of retreat, rest, introspection, and contemplation. The more you honor and connect with nature and her flows and cycles, the more you connect with yourself and with Great Spirit or God. And the more you'll connect with her energies, which is the earth heart portal. There you will find your truth. There you will find your life mission on your new earth, ready to be reborn in the northern season of the spring. So there you have it. Very good. So let's do I just have a couple more things to do. We did our 2024 forecast, that's on the channel. We did our bridge forecast, that's on the channel. No more live streams until tarot time this Sunday at 11. So I'll get to retreat a little bit also. You'll practice what I preach as well. So I may be doing a few less in the way of videos or shorts or whatever, but that's just temporary. But anyway, we talked about spirit, mind, family. So that's how to get into the inner core of this community. And if this is resonating with you, please like the video, share it with people, and that helps to get this out to more people, basically. So I was having in the chat. Yeah, at one point I peaked. I think we peaked at about 208. So we definitely were able to attract some interest today. Oh, so talking about the myths, the fog. A lot of it's fear-based news. Not to worry. We talked about that very early on in this live stream. I got some channeled information about the fog and what it may be for, basically. But I think part of it is this whole like smoke screens and fear-based and smoke screens, where there's smoke, there's fire, but the fire may not be where the smoke is, right? So, yeah, a lot of fatigue. That's part of the upgrades and ascension, and part of the what's happening. Battles are playing out in different levels of reality, and we're seeing some effects of that here in our physical reality that we know. And a lot of us, when we sleep, we're going into in different situations and different realities, and part of it is battles. It's a whole fundamental shift. It's just part of the whole play of consciousness, the whole cycle that we're in, basically, as being one part of an individual aspect of a divine collective whole. So anyway, this is the sacred geometry card. So I'm going to ask Spirit to direct me to the right card to tap into more about the frequency and more messages about January. And what we got is prosperity. Well, that's something good, and we haven't talked a lot about that. So maybe this is a good time to really, focus on, it's January too. To focus on new beginnings and more prosperity. Now, prosperity is also abundance, right? And you are abundant, from the 15 trillion cells in your body to the trillions of atoms that you just inhaled in your last breath. Everything exists in abundance, including money. So the only thing that separates you and money or prosperity is your thinking, and that's programming, because money's out there in unlimited quantities. It's just figuring out how to get that money into your pockets. But anyway, what the message is here is the frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, and heart and soul and spirit sing. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. So there you have it. And you may get your own personal message if you gaze into get this into the, I have you may have noticed I have a violet light spotlight as well as my ring light on me. So I'm in a little bit of a violet haze here. There you have it. So that's another message for us. This is a good time to plan and focus on our prosperity. That could be financial in other areas, but we deserve that. In fact, I think not tomorrow, but next Thursday, I think I'm going to do a prosperity video using the 369 manifestation method, 3 different processes. So I haven't done a money video in like forever on the channel. So I think we're going to do that. That's important, right? So I also have this Starseed Oracle. That's next. Love this deck. I don't know if I have the box with me. Is that a can't remember her name. Anyway, the artwork is beautiful. The messages are beautiful. Good point, Karen. Bright Venus as well. Venus, what, in gonna go into Cancer, right? First in Cancer. I that was at the beginning of the video, but anyway, Venus is exalted in Cancer, so yes, perfect month to work on our personal prosperity and abundance. Absolutely, yeah. I think that's in just a couple of days, right? Anyway, thanks. Yes, I'm not thinking, I'm talking. So that's another way. There's 2 ways to block your conscious mind so that spirit can direct your hand. That's either do something different and not think about it, or just clear your mind. So the message here is I remember, soul plan, fated life versus destiny life. You may get some of this. So this is a time or a month of remembrance also, basically. Now I'm calling the whole year of 2024 the year of reckoning. That is, we have to, recognize, right? We have to come to a place of being okay. That we've all effed up in our lives and everything. We have to be okay with that. We have to purge any of the guilt, fear, and shame of past deeds and learn to be present. Always apologize when you need to, because we all F up, right? In some way or another. But the year of reckoning is just kind of that. It's just like we take stock of things, what's happened, where are we, what do we want to do, where are we going? So this is the transition. This is like the pivot point from old earth to new earth. 2025 is it. And we'll see from 2026 to 2027 and beyond some real tangible, real earth effects of that. So also remembrance could be remembering who you are. That's our spiritual mission. So we can make that our January mission based on this message. We're here to remember. We come into this world, we forget. We forget that we're spirit. We forget what planets we're from, our starseed origins. Even if you're a first generation starseed, if you come here with a specific purpose of helping herald in the new age here on Earth, in order to come into this reality, this matrix, this Maya, this illusion. There's certain rules and you have to forget. That's part of your spiritual growth. But when you remember and you start to tap into your gifts, that's when you have a true ascension and true awakenings. And I've had awakenings, but I haven't had the one where I've had total remembrance of all of that stuff. So I think most of us have awakenings that are still ahead, that are still in the front view mirror, not the rear view mirror, basically. But in any event, so as we meditate, the more present we are, the more we remember who we truly are. We're spirit. We're not our bodies. We have bodies. We're not our thoughts or emotions. These are our tools to navigate a physical life. But we're spirit having human experiences with the intention of evolving and growing and expanding. So so that's remembrance. Yeah. I think I remember too much. Yeah, I do remember a lot, but there's more. And yeah, every time I think this is across the board. Anytime we think that we've got, I'm so cool, I'm awakened, I'm a master, blah blah blah. Spirit's gonna smack you down. Basically, they're gonna show no, you still got a ways to go. We're all on different levels, but we're equal here. There's no better, worse. We're just at different points of our paths. I'm playing, at this, specific time, this juncture in time and space. I'm in the role of facilitator. So that's part of my mission and part of my offering. But we're all the same. I wanted to also to honor the native traditions. I mean, the medicine card are just North American animals. I want to get some wisdom from the animals as another message for us. And I think one of the things in this year we may start to see more of in January is more likely indigenous rights in the U.S. and other countries being more honored, being more recognized, and being more worked. I think we're also going to see a lot of things being hit on the the gender issues, mostly like these young people thinking that they're animals or that they're a different gender or whatever, and stuff like that. So a lot of these things I think are going to really start to play out also. But anyway, clear my mind. So I'm seeing a raccoon, so that'll be an honorary animal. I mean, they're thieves, but they're like Robin Hoods too, in a way. This is the one that spirit guided me to. Oh, an ant. Ants are very community minded, aren't they? Yeah, they all have a role. They all play a part. I think it's defined differently in the medicine cards, and I'm going to see if I can find that book. But yeah, that's so interesting. I think I think for us, it's a message of really building our communities. There could, I didn't touch on this, so I will now. Well, I did a little bit because I talked about food prices going up and supply lines being cut off. So there could be some food shortages that break out. I think that they're more likely to be more regionally than widespread. But it's good to know where your farms are. It's good to know things. It's good to be stocked up just in case and stuff like that, and really connected with the community. Even if you're very much a lone wolf and more introverted like myself, there's still that connection to community because we need each other. If it comes down to survival, we need each other. Well, patient. Well, ants are very patient. Some ants will travel thousands of miles, right? And they are very patient. They can carry many times their weight on their backs. So there's strength, there's patience. So I think that's the other message, that we have to be patient. Let's see how it plays out. We may not like what we see. It may, being empathic is very hard when you see a lot of suffering, but the more in your heart you are, the more you can withstand this, being super empathic and sensitive without sacrificing that ability. The heart's the eye of the storm, and being grounded is part of that too. Run your roots deep. The storms don't knock over the trees with deep roots. They hit the white pines here, but not the deeply rooted trees. And that's it. That's what I have for you guys. And thank you so much for being here. And and see about 160 of you stuck it out. So that's amazing. And yeah, so we need to take care of each other. Yeah, and interesting. I'm just peeking your comments, and I'm just feeling like, do more of your art, because art connects us to the spirit. Singing, sound vibration connects us with the flow. Physical art, it's a channeling process. So do creative things while you're in this reset and hibernation mode. So thank you. Since somebody's comment just kind of popped that into my mind. Yeah, to do a lot of more creative endeavors during January. That's another good message to close out with. And thank you. I love you guys. Happy New Year to everybody. Oh, yes, I got my festive shirt on. And I have my aqua aura, which I'm always wearing. So I have my festive shirt on. This warm. This was gifted to me by a opera person, by an accompanist whose partner, I don't think they were married. I think this was before gay marriages, but his partner Franco was not a famous tenor, but in the opera circles was a well-known tenor. This was his shirt. He was my size. I mean, I've actually gotten thinner, unfortunately, through the years, um, but he has a small frame like I do. The shirt fits perfectly. And Carl, who since passed into spirit, gifted me this shirt because he came to me for a reading years and years ago. And I did some mediumship, and the name Frank came through, and I've seen a piano, and he and all that stuff. It was a good reading. Like Franco, his partner, did come through, and there's a lot of specific messages, and we became friends. And he gifted me 2 shirts after a while. So that's how I have this shirt. So there's a little history of my wardrobe. Love you guys. Be well. And may peace be with you. We will thrive. It's a reset. We're going to thrive. What's the expression? The meek shall inherit the earth. Meek is not weak. Meek is a certain temperament, and sometimes it takes great strength to be meek. That, to me, that means more spiritual. So anyway, love you. Happy 2025. Let's celebrate. Woo-hoo. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. I love you. Thanks for being part of this community.